Denny Hamlin is back in his winning ways at Martinsville, and of course this is a short track, so we're going to have some short track tempers. Plus, there's one team this season that keeps having issues with their cars, and they continue here at Martinsville. Let's talk all about it from the track. Hey everyone, my name's Taylor Kitchen and welcome back to Above the Yellow Line on the ATYL Media channel, where we're doing motorsports media your way. And on this show, if you can't tell, we talk about NASCAR all the time, and I am right here at Martinsville talking about the Cookout 400, where Denny Hamlin dominated the race. He led 274 laps to get his 55th Cup Series career victory, the first time he's won at this track since 2015, and his first win with new crew chief Chris Gale. Convincing win for them, and also to see Progressive in victory lane like right after they joined the Joe Gibbs Racing number 11 team. Pretty impressive. So congrats to Denny Hamlin, that number 11 team. The victory celebration on the front stretch and just burnouts all around the track were phenomenal. It was definitely a fun win to watch and a convincing win for sure. So Denny Hamlin in first place. Second place, his teammate Christopher Bell. And you're going to hear a theme here. The Toyotas came into their own towards the end of the race. And for Christopher Bell, unfortunately, just didn't have anything to give to that number 11 car. Just used up his equipment a little bit too much. Nothing more he could do. So it won't be win number 4 for Christopher Bell, at least this weekend. But trust me, Christopher Bell's going to win more this season. So if you're a Christopher Bell fan, chill. He'll be fine. In third place, we had Bubba Wallace, and the one thing I'm constantly keyed in on this season is his mentality regarding where he finishes these races, how he's doing during the race, how he's doing after the race. He has a different mindset going into this season, and it definitely shows when he's on the radio with his team and when he's talking to the media after the race. After the race, he said that restarts are typically one of his best traits, but he just struggled today, so he's going to go back and study that. He's going to have to go back and study those restarts so he can be better at them, but nothing to hang his head over, just scratching his head to see what more he could have done, but ultimately really proud of that number 23 team. I know he won the first duel at Daytona, but I do think there is another win coming for him this season. He's been so consistent. I know this is only, race 6 of the year, and we have way more to go, but I truly do think with the trajectory of that 23 team, there is a win on the way for Bubba Wallace. I do want to predict right now, I think he's going to lock himself into the playoffs with a win. So mark that down. And fourth spot is Chase Elliott, and he quite honestly had one of the stronger cars at the start of the race, a bit more of a short-run car when it came down to it that became a long-run car, of course, as the race went on. He picked up where he left off with a strong run at Martinsville. Of course, if you remember last fall, Hendrick Motorsports was pretty dominant, and then Ryan Blaney showed up, and his car was just unstoppable when it came down to it, but nonetheless, a good, consistent result for Chase Elliott here at Martinsville. Kyle Larson finished in 5th place, and his car just wasn't as strong as you would expect for that 5 team at Martinsville. At one point towards the end of the race, he actually moved over and gave Chase Elliott that 4th position because he knew his car just wasn't good enough to maintain that spot. So being a good teammate there, but ultimately not on par for what we would think Larson's team would perform at this track. We had Ross Chastain in 6th, ruffling some feathers during the race. We'll talk about that in a second. In 7th, Ryan Preece, and he was the big story for us here at Above the Yellow Line and even Racing America before the race started because he was chasing a career first. 3 consecutive top 10 finishes in a row, something he has not done in his career. Well, he could say he's done it now because he finished inside the top 10, 3 straight in a row. Awesome job for that 60 team. That consistency, I think Ryan Preece hasn't really been a storyline the past few seasons, and now with RFK Racing, just he has a spotlight finally. I think he is at a team where he can truly thrive, and he has the equipment where he can get those good results. I kind of wanted him to win today, not gonna lie. He just didn't have the car to get those results, but I'm curious to see in the fall when they come back here what they can do. Of course, it's during the playoffs, so the playoff contenders are going to be at the top of the field. Nevertheless, when you think about short tracks, you think about Ryan Preece. He's been so good at this track in the mods, so of course that would translate over to the Cup Series, but very happy for him in that 60 team with that top 10 result. For Joey Logano, can you believe it? It's his first top 10 of the season, the champion last year, just getting his first top 10 of the year. Crazy, but that's where we're at. For Joey Logano, I think the result could have been better if it weren't with an incident with 91 laps to go. Chastain put a block on Chase Briscoe, and Chase Briscoe ended up getting his tires on one of the curbs going into the turn, took him up the track, and unfortunately clipping Joey Logano. Again, just Joey seems to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, just bad luck here and there. So hopefully things get better from here. But again, a top 10 finish for Joey Logano, the first of the season. You can't complain about that. Then, of course, 9th, we have Chase Briscoe. Great result for him. And 10th, Todd Gilliland. Awesome to see that Front Row Motorsports 34 car up in the top 10. Let's put some focus on Ty Gibbs for a second. We've talked about him the past few weeks saying, I do not know what's going on with him and the team, but they need to step it up. They definitely did today. They had pace that was on par with their Toyota teammates. He really did. Unfortunately, that was a bit derailed because of one of his Toyota teammates. A bit later in the race, Tyler Reddick put the bumper of his number 45 to the bumper of Ty Gibbs' number 54, spinning him out. Ty Gibbs, of course, had some choice words over the radio out of frustration, but what was so nice to hear was his crew chief over the radio saying, hey, stick with me. We have a car that I think can get the result it deserves. We're just going to have to really dig and work hard. We might need a few cautions to go our way, and luckily it did. It helped him out a little bit, but ultimately Ty Gibbs did have a good enough car despite some damage to get him back inside the top 15. Two finishing positions I wanted to highlight because it highlights continued issues for one team in their cars. Let's talk about the finishing positions of Josh Berry and Austin Cindric. Both cars faced battery issues during this race, having to change the battery multiple times. Josh Berry was able to finish this event towards the back of the pack. Austin Cindric, unfortunately, couldn't finish the race because they ran out of replacement batteries for the number 2 car. I've never heard of that before, ever, in a cup race where the team just ran out of batteries to replace in the car. So clearly a huge issue back at the Penske camp and then in turn the Wood Brothers camp that they're going to have to hone in on and try to figure out issues. First, it was engines blowing up for Ryan Blaney, and now it is those issues with voltage with the battery. So hopefully that's not an issue going forward. But again, you're throwing away results that could be really good for this team, especially Josh Berry for Wood Brothers, who led multiple laps during this race, throwing away what could have been a fantastic result because, also, with it being a home track, but throwing away a fantastic result because of a crazy issue with the battery. So, unfortunate for Josh Berry, and of course, unfortunate for Austin Cindric. And to round out the discussion on our results, unfortunately, there was a disqualification for this race for the 43 of Erik Jones. Unfortunately, his car did not pass post-race inspection. He was underweight, therefore, he was disqualified. So we've talked about the results, some of the chaos. Now it's time to rate this race above or below the yellow line, presented by Happy Hour Racing. This race was definitely better than last spring. Let me tell you, I about fell asleep during the race last spring. It just was not compelling. We did not have the right tire. Quite frankly, it was a snooze fest. This race, it was a little messy, but it was not a snooze fest in my opinion. I love the tire that they brought in November, and that's the same tire that Goodyear and NASCAR brought to the track today. It was compelling, and yes, we did have some short runs in the start of the race, towards the first half of the race, where we didn't really get to see tire strategy totally play out. These teams could take 2 tires and it would mean nothing. But once we get into those long green flag runs, we saw that a 2-tire strategy just was not gonna cut it. So definitely seeing the tire actually matter here, again, for the most part, was great. I thought overall it did help the product. I thought we had great battles for the lead overall. Of course, towards the end of the race, Denny Hamlin kind of ran away with it. But nevertheless, I think the tire really did help the product. I'm going to give this race probably, I hate to give it another 70%. Maybe I go 68%. 68%, definitely above the yellow line. I do think there is still some work to do here at Martinsville, but it ultimately was not an awful race. I've heard from some of you online saying it was boring, not compelling. Some of you were like, okay, step in the right direction. I agree. It's a step in the right direction for short track racing. Ultimately, I think, again, we've been spoiled with fantastic products from the NASCAR races this year. So when you compare this to the other races we've had so far in 2025, it's going to rank a little lower on the scale, but nonetheless, a fantastic race from Martinsville. So what did you think of the Cookout 400? Let me know in the comments below, and also I'm really curious. Let me know what you get at Cookout. Like, what's your tray? What shake do you get? I get a strawberry shake with cheesecake bites. That's just what I do. But let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Above the Yellow Line. Make sure to go to AboveTheYellowLine.com and follow us on social media at ATYL Media, at Above the Yellow Line, and at _TaylorKitchen_. I will be at Darlington, so I'll have another at-track video next week. So I will see you all at Darlington if you're there. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.